Hey guys, welcome back to Learn Akan. So to form a complete sentence, so a full thought, you will typically need a subject, which usually comes in the form of a noun or a pronoun. So for example, Kofi, all right, Kofi as a subject here, which is a noun. And then you would need a verb, all right? So let's use a verb like di, all right, di. And then you can add an object. So if you are asked what it is that Kofi eats, you can add, for example, fufu. And fufu here is another noun, but acting here as the object. So we have Kofi di fufu as a full sentence, all right? So again, if you look at the composition of this sentence, we have a noun acting as the subject, and then we have a noun acting as the object, right? And then in between that, we have the verb. Now, you don't always need the object. Depending on the verb that you are using, you can drop the object and still convey a complete thought. All right, so for example, if we switch this transitive verb di for the intransitive one didi, then we can say Kofi didi, and we have a full sentence. So we have Kofi didi, Kofi eats. No object, but this is a complete thought. Now, under the right circumstances, we can even drop the subject. Okay, so the initial noun, we can even drop that and still be able to convey a complete thought, right? So, for example, if you are issuing a command, all right, so let's say I'm telling you Didi. Okay, so if I come up to you and I tell you Didi or ko, okay, ko, or bra. Those are conveying complete thoughts without the need for me to put here the subject noun. So I've taken out the subject noun, but I'm still conveying a complete thought just by using the verb as a command, right? So this should tell you how important verbs are. The nouns are also important. As you saw with our sentence, we used a noun as its subject as well as the object, all right? So the nouns are also important, but the verbs are much more important because we use those to hold the nouns and other parts of speech together in order to form complete sentences. And under the right circumstances, we are able to even use the verbs on their own to convey complete thoughts without making the subject explicit. Okay, and as important as the verbs are, it is very important that you learn as many of them as possible. Not just how to say them, but how to properly use them within constructions. Okay, and with so many verbs available to you, a very legitimate question to ask at this point will be, which ones should I learn first? Okay, so as a language learner, which of the verbs should I start with? Okay, and my advice to you on this will be to start with the most commonly used ones. It's a no-brainer, right? You know, there are so many verbs available to you, but there are verbs that you learn today that you might not use in your entire lifetime. It's the case in almost all languages, right? Yes, so it's good that you focus your time and energy on the ones that we tend to use quite often. And one of those is the to have verb, which we have a dedicated lesson on. I'll leave a link up here to go check it out. That verb is one of the most commonly used verbs that you can ever come by. But an even popular verb, more than the to have verb, is the to be verb. The to be verb is by far the most commonly used verb there is in a lot of languages. Okay, so not just in Twi, but in English, and I imagine other languages, we tend to use this verb a lot, right, on a daily basis. So it is important that you get to know the to be verb forms that we have in Twi and learn to use them appropriately, okay? So we are going to dedicate each of our subsequent lessons in the series to look at the various forms of the to be verb in Twi, okay? Now, if you don't know what the to be verb is, it is what manifests as the is, the are, the the was, the were, and all those in English. So you see how often we use them? just take the S. You use them countless times every single day. So these are very important. So we are going to, like I said, dedicate each of our subsequent lessons in the series to look at each and every to be verb form that we have and how to use them appropriately. So basically, we use the to be verb to describe states of being. So just as the name suggests, we have to be, Shakespeare, to be or not to be, that popular line. So we use the to be verb to, describe states of being, right? States of being something, as well as, to describe existence, all right? So to describe the existence of someone or something, we will typically use a to be verb, all right? Before we conclude this introductory lesson and then move on to looking at the individual to be verb forms that we have in Chi, let me say here that, in English, the to be verb changes in form depending on the number of subjects, right, that the to be verb is going with, right? So, for example, you say Kofi is, right, Ama is, but then you say Kofi and Ama are, right? It's not just that. So I say I am, but then I say you are. It's so confusing when it comes to English. But the good news is, in Chi, the to be verb does not change based on the number of subjects. No. Okay, so the to be verbs, the individual to be verb forms that we are going to be looking at, they stay same irrespective of the number of subjects that, is going with the to be verb. So whether the subject is singular or plural, you'll find that the to be verb will stay same. The number will not change the form of the to be verb. Let's end this introduction here and be sure to join me later as we look at the individual to be verb forms that we have in Chi. See you soon.